This next guest is really cool. This is way outside of his comfort zone. He does not do this. I am super lucky that I've known this guy for a long time, and he actually said no first, but then said yes. So just throwing that out there to put a preface on this little interview. I will let this person introduce himself, name, and his role right now.
Hey, I'm Kurt Christensen. I'm one of the owners of Bow Cycle. I'm the sales director currently till they change it, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Cool, man. And, Bow Cycle is obviously an iconic place in Calgary. My family's been going there forever. So anyway, super cool that you took the time to do this. I'm really looking forward to this one. So the gist of the show is I just ask the guests to kind of go back, talk about, how they're, what inspired them growing up. You don't have to go back to elementary school. You go back as far as you want to go, whether it's junior high or high school, and what you're interested in back then. Because all I'm trying to do is paint a picture of what you've been doing for the last, X amount of years of your life. So I'm going to prod you along. So
giddy up.
Take it back as far back as you want to go, whether it's just kind of what you're interested in. And I'm going to jab you with different questions.
Fair enough. Grew up in Calgary my whole life.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Born and raised. Yeah.
What part of the city?
Grew up in Cambrian Heights.
Okay. Cool.
And Cambrian Heights Elementary. And then Colonel Irvin, James Fowler.
Okay.
Yeah. And loved riding some BMX bikes back in junior high and had my factory Kuahara.
Was it red?
No, it was black and gold. My friend Terry had the chrome one, which with blue, which was $40 more than mine, and it was awesome.
Was the Kuahara back then? They have weird wheels. Were they like plastic, like 5 spokes, or were they like?
I was a Skyway tough wheel guy, but when I bought that bike originally, it was alloy wheels, gold snake tires, snakeskin tires.
Oh yeah.
IRC something tires. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
it was awesome.
So your biking was a thing early?
Yeah.
But just like messing around, like all of us kids, it was like a mode of transportation and we could just goof around wherever.
Yeah. It was funny. I went to Victoria on a family trip, and we took a ferry down to the US, and there was a bike shop down there that had some BMXs that were pretty high end, and I was just blown away at how light they were. And then that just sort of sparked it within me. And, I wanted to see what was out there, and then got back to Calgary and did some homework, and I found the Kuaharas at Ridley's and bought the bike with my friend Terry, and
awesome.
It was super fun.
Where'd you go? Seattle?
It was
like a ferry from like Vancouver,
down? It was from Victoria to I can't remember the name of the city. It's actually where Kona Mountain Bikes has their headquarters now. Like,
so it's all connected now.
Yeah. Now
that you think about it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did you when you were growing up, did you play sports, like junior high school sports, or was it?
Yeah, I've always played sports: baseball, hockey, football, a little bit in high school.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was after you finished high school? Did you actually go to university?
Nope.
See, join the club.
I took some time. I was a waiter at the Sheraton Cavalier. Actually, I was a busboy at the Sheraton Cavalier and then I started there when I was 16, and then when I turned 18, I graduated to being a waiter there, and did the service industry for a long time, and then Republic came along.
Yes. So Kurt and I, we probably start crossing paths when I started going to nightclubs, underage, 17, going to the Republic. And that's how we first kind of met. So that was, a long time ago, 25, 26 years ago. And so when you graduated high school, did you know right away that you didn't want to go to university? Was there nothing that was calling you, or what were you?
I really had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. And It was super frustrating. Absolutely.
Do you think when you were in high school, and there was nothing really calling you, I remember going to counselors and sitting in the counselor's room and the guidance counselor, not like the shrink counselor, the guidance counselor, and we're talking about what I should do next, what courses I should take at university. I'm like, well, nothing interests me. But they had no answer back then. There was no options.
Yeah, it was, I remember talking to one lady and her heart went out to me and she's like, I can tell that you're a guy that wants to do something and do something well, but there's no direction to try and find where that is. And
yep.
So just kind of meandered my way through the service industry. And
yep. And what made you go there first? Because you spent a lot of time there, so I'm really curious to see. I'm really curious to see what made you go there.
Okay,
first.
So I was in James Fowler, and my best friend Neil Wells was a busboy at the Sheraton Cavalier, and he's like, "I think I can get you a job, man." And I'm like, "Okay, wicked." So I met the boss, Phil Hills, at the Sheraton Cavalier at the dining room there, and I became a busboy. And I think probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months in, Phil Hill said to me, "You know what? Maybe this isn't the right direction for you. You'd be good as a warehouse worker or something because you could probably lift some big boxes." And I'm like, "What?" And then he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And then finally it clicked, and I became a good busboy and got it. And became a waiter there and employee of the month at the whole hotel, blah, blah, blah. So it did click eventually, but.
Yeah. And how long, was it years there or was it?
I was there for probably 5-6 years.
Oh, so it's a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're done high school trying to figure something out. Now you work somewhere for 5 years and are you thinking like, I don't know, this is the job. This is the thing. Are you still thinking about what's next or what's out there?
I was like, well, this is a job for now type thing. And
yep.
And then actually it was my high school graduation. I went to the beach, which is kind of the predecessor to Republic.
No way.
The beach was on 8th Avenue and
wow.
Victor's father-in-law owned that place, and it was the first alternative bar in Calgary. And I got snuck in there with my buddies that were 18, 19, 20 at the time. And I discovered alternative and the beach. So much fun, man. So much fun.
What was your, I forgot about the music piece to you. What was the music? What was the music that was grabbing you back then? Because alternative was kind of a new kind of. What was the thing when I think of when I got first introduced to alternative? It was like Bad Religion, No Effects.
No,
but you're before me. You're before me.
This is more like Cure, Ramones, Tears for Fears.
Yeah. You found it. You found the sound, and all of a sudden,
it was
lights on.
Oh, so good. If anyone remembers the beach, it was awesome.
Where was it? I can't picture it.
It's 8th Avenue between, like, I would say 7th and 8th Street type thing. There was right next door to a parkade, and it was
crazy.
Sweet. Yeah.
So your buddies take you there. That's your regular haunt for.
Yeah. I was there for I think 1.5, 2 years type thing, and then Victor decided to open Republic.
Were you working at the beach?
No.
You're partying.
Yeah. I wasn't of age.
Okay.
I don't think.
Minor detail.
Actually, I wasn't that far off. Like, I was maybe underage for like, I don't know, a couple of months or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Victor decided to open Republic, right? And I was like, I love the beach, man. It's going to take a lot to drag me away from this place.
Yep.
And the Republic on 9th Avenue, 516 9th Avenue Southwest. I remember it well. We started going there, and it was like the beach had 2 for 1. Republic had 3 for 1.
Victor doesn't piss around.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool, and it was a cool room that had a great patio.
Yep.
And ended up going there, and then
what were you doing for a job when you were?
I was still
You're still
working at the Sheraton
okay,
as a
yeah.
waiter. I was a waiter at this time, and
Yep.
and then one of the guys that was working there, Lee Behringer, he's like,
Where?
at Republic on 9th Ave.
Okay.
He's like, do you want a job? I'm
Just because you were hanging out there all the time?
yeah. I'm
Were
like,
you a big dude back then too?
Biggish.
Like you're
yeah.
thick, oversized, like you're like thick dude.
Yeah. Husky.
Okay. Yes. So is Lee the GM there? Because Lee hired me at the embassy.
Yeah. Well, no, Lee back in the day he was a bartender, just kind of
Just around.
There was like 8 people that worked there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
was an employee, and he's like, do you want to work here? I'm like, okay, maybe.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I'll be a door guy. Yeah.
That's what he offered you?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said yes?
Yeah.
And then you start working there for...
I was working there part-time, still working part-time at the Sheraton. And it was
In the heyday.
in the heyday.
Like this is Republic the what? Like...
It was funny. I watched Rice's commentary on the original Republic, and he kept saying the 17th Avenue was the original Republic.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right.
9th Avenue was the original Republic. And it was, you had to walk up these narrow stairs, and it was like this little small room, and the DJ booth was up there, and little small dance floor, and then another bar up at the front. And then they had this beautiful patio that kind of overlooked downtown. And it was
Crazy.
And it was alternative. It was back in the day, like when alternative was alternative. Like
Characters.
oh yeah, it was special. Like
And was there a DJ? Was there? They have
yeah.
So there's a DJ.
Yeah.
Do you remember who it was?
oh yeah, Dean. It's gonna kill me for not remembering his name.
Did he play forever? Did he play at the?
Oh yeah. Blonde Dean. Come on, Kurt.
It'll come to you. Because you come across a lot of DJs.
Clay Hughes was one of the DJs.
Yeah.
Dean's gonna kill me.
Crazy.
Dean was the DJ. He was the man. He DJ'd at a bunch of clubs around town and stuff, and he was awesome.
So
Well revered for sure.
you get this cool job. Are you working like Fridays, Saturdays, or what are you doing?
I think
Like part-time?
probably back then I was, working full time as a waiter, and then 2 days a week working door
Yep.
at Republic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're pretty young when you start working the door.
Yeah.
And then so the Republic moves from the original 9th Ave location to 17th. You make the move, right? You're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how and the difference between the two? I didn't go to the original one. The one just like right here.
Yeah.
Were they same idea, bigger, smaller?
Yeah. You know what? I think when Republic was on 9th Avenue, Alternative was still sort of from that beach era, and it was still super underground. And then when it hit 17th Avenue for the first couple of years, 3 years, it was still pretty underground and cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Alternative was still, you kind of had to know someone to know what was going on type thing, or that's what it,
Yep. What year was that? Wait, do you remember ish when it kind of went to 17th?
if I was a hazard guess, I'd say early 90s type thing.
Okay.
Because I remember seeing the, when the Flames won the
89?
Stanley Cup,
Yep.
we were at 9th Avenue.
Okay.
So when we moved to 17th Ave, it would have been early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I started going there. So I was in grade 12 in 94, 17. And that summer, my buddy started dragging me there, and it was like $1.80 doubles on Thursdays before 10 o'clock or something. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I remember, and the Republic was always a fun place, crazy energy all the time. I didn't know you, but you were this big lurking dude at the door. Back then there was big guys at the door, and it wasn't until years later that I'm like, oh, that's the guy. So anyways, you were the face of that door for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like a decade?
No.
Early 90s?
I worked the door for probably 4 years, something like that,
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
Yep.
And then Victor offered me the opportunity to be a bartender, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Duh.
Why?
Bad idea.
Why do you want to go behind?
I don't really know. I was just like, I was having too much fun at the door, and I thought it was cool. And
Yeah.
And then
here's funny. I'm gonna interject all over the place on you because it's really fun. You ran a door for so long, and now the crazy thing is, in the middle of this pandemic, you have lineups at your business now, and it's like this. It's all come full circle. Like you could really hold a lineup at your current at Bow.
Yeah.
And when I went down there and saw this giant lineup, I'm like, it feels like I'm going to a nightclub again. There's
for sure.
There's a lineup. There's probably a back door I need to figure out. Like, it's so weird. So you enjoyed being out there in the lineup versus going to being behind the bar?
No, you know what? Working the door was fun and cool and everything, but the transition to being a bartender was definitely the right move for sure. It was way more fun.
Yeah, totally. Because you're in the middle of it. You get to see it outside. Is an interesting thing too, because you get to see there's an energy out there. People, you can hear the music coming through the front door.
Yeah.
There's people trying to talk to you, and you're trying to do deals or whatever it is. But when you're behind the bar in the middle of the room, it's a different energy.
Oh yeah, they're both super fun.
Yeah,
like I love both of them, man. And
where did Victor? Where was your first bartending gig? Where did Victor want you to go?
I ended up working the bar that would have been 17th Avenue, closest to the patio.
Okay.
And working bar with Lee Behringer. And it was a great spot.
Was Alti there yet?
Cam would have been right around there too. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that guy, man.
So Cam, a good friend of mine, Miles Nash, he knew Cam. So our way to get into the Republic was to get Cam, and Cam would come to the front door, probably talk to you, and then us 4 or 5 jokers would come in, and then Cam would feed us drinks. And I don't know how he did it, but it was, I don't know, it was like $10 for 12 drinks, and we're 18, and this dude's hooking us up at the bar, letting us in, and it's Cam. So we go way back with Cam too.
Cam is the nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
And if you guys don't know Cam Alti, he is the best.
Yeah. And to this day, he's at the Dome now, running all the booze down there. It's the exact same guy.
Oh yeah. No,
like you can see him. Well, I'm sure you've seen it at the games.
Oh yeah.
He treats you the exact same way as he did at the Republic.
He's a prince.
Yep.
I love that guy, man.
Super funny.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now you're behind the bar, and this is a new, because the business scene right now is obviously heavy service. It's, I don't know if it's
all service.
Yeah, but so now you're at the bar. You're almost kind of like cutting your teeth at the bar on the service side of things. Figuring out people and all that. So behind the bar, does it feel you're comfortable now? You can do this for a while, and then do you start bouncing around?
Yeah. It was funny. Like I didn't want to go be a bartender as a door guy because I was having so much fun as a door guy.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, I should probably try this. And then it was like, oh, I wish I did this sooner.
Yep.
And, moving forward, you've met so many people and
that was, so did you like the interaction? Like, what was it that kind of drew you to it? Because you did it for a while, right? Like, I don't know
absolutely.
when you.
So I started the door, and then I worked at the bar, and then I was at, I think, Republic for 8 years. So probably 2 or 3 years on the door, and then 5 years at the bar, and then kind of was burning at Republic, and then Victor opened Mercury, and
The original.
And so I was one of the first guys that worked at Mercury.
No way.
Which was that place was
that was special.
Super special.
Yeah.
Super small.
Yep. It was
special.
Yeah, it was
It was.
and always you go there any any day. You go there for lunch and have the chicken penne. Like it was just, there was always people there. And like, it was such a cool room.
It was funny. Brad Morrison, when he was talking about looking out the front window on 17th Avenue, he goes, "This is the best TV you're ever going to see, man." And it was like, he was totally right. It was like,
is that when you met Brad for the first time?
Yeah.
Because Brad was working in the kitchen?
Yep.
Right? It was him and...
he was a chef. If you say his name, I'll know it. Troy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so him and Troy are there, and then you're there. Who else was bartending when you got there?
Davey Andrews.
Okay.
And...
Dude, don't even...
The red.
Oh. Crazy. I can picture these people. I just can't remember like when it... Because all of a sudden there was some other...
He's going to be angry that I can't remember his name.
You'll remember it. We got another 40 minutes, so it'll come to you. And were you there like 3 days a week? Like is this your full-time job?
Yeah.
And so I did the same thing as you. I worked nightclubs for a decade, and that was my full-time job. And a lot of people, once you're in the industry, it's normal, right? All the people you hang out with, it's what they do. But for the outside world, it was a weird situation. You go to work on Thursday, Friday, Saturday at like 7 o'clock. You get home at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You do that 3 days a week, and you're done.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world is kind of trying to either they're going to school, or they're working 9 to 5, and then all of a sudden it's you and your circle of essentially start hanging out with the guys that you work with all the time because you're on the same schedule. It's a different world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So now that you make me think about it, I think when I was working at Republic, I started at Bow Cycle.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like doing that. And then, so I was working full-time Bow Cycle and part-time Republic. I transitioned to Mercury, and I think I was only there like one night a week, I think.
Okay.
And there just got to a point where I was like,
yeah,
I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
And, back in the day, Bow Cycle, I was working 6 and 7 days a week, like full pulls every day, which meant like 11 hours a day, every day. Like, and just like, okay, yeah, cool. This is what we're doing. Okay. Well, I don't know any better, right? Like,
so, I didn't know you started. It's been that long since you've been at Bow.
It's been 93 when I started there, so almost 30 years.
Wow. So, so now, it's a totally different lane, but how do you even get a job at Bow, and what were you doing? Was it always sales, or were you doing service? You're never in the back, were you?
Don't ever let me touch your bike to try and fix it. That's my advice to anybody. I can change your tire, might be able to fix a flat. No, I'm a talker. I'm a sales guy.
Yeah,
so basically what happened, when I was working at Republic, I, loved the idea of mountain biking. And, I had a Kuahara Cascade mountain bike from Bow Cycle. And then, I rode that for a few years and stuff. And then I got interested in mountain biking again, and then the Kona Kilauea was the mountain bike of the year, mountain bike action. And Bow Cycle was the dealer for Kona. Actually, I should rewind. I bought a Concord from a Dynamic Cycle on 17th Avenue.
What's a Concord? Like a mountain bike?
A brand, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Was it like a Diamondback, like just a basic mountain bike, no suspension?
It was fully rigid because back then suspension was just coming in to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cottoms, Tori, and Leah, they took super good care of me. Mm-hmm. And I bought this Concord mountain bike, and it was awesome. Thought it was awesome.
So how do you even, what got you interested in mountain biking? Did you have friends that did it?
I just think I was into the BMX, and
right.
I don't know, maybe a magazine caught my eye or something like that.
But like, were you hardcore into mountain biking?
No,
you just knew you wanted a bike?
Yeah, I just
so
wanted to bike.
Mess around.
I thought they looked pretty cool.
Okay.
And then I rode the Concord for a couple of years, and the needle went further in the arm, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I need a better,
No, you're good.
better mountain bike. And Mountain Bike Action had this Kona Kilauea. It was mountain bike of the year. And Bo Cycle had those, right?
By the way, how do you remember this? Is it really, does this, because you can remember these bikes, does it make all the sense in the world to what you're doing today? Like it was such a thing for you?
Yes and no. Like if it was something that was actually worthwhile remembering, it'd be awesome, but just it's not, right? To me it is maybe, but nobody else probably, right?
There's a lot of bikers out there that can do that.
I get that. So Bo Cycle was a dealer for Kona. I went and talked to Bryce Sibthorpe and got the Kilauea. And
which probably a big spend-ish, right?
It was
a commitment.
It was second from top of the line.
Yep.
Nice bike. And we customized it, got the new RockShox RS1. It was a nice bike, man.
Awesome. And did you ride the hell out of it, or was this like a weekend warrior kind of thing?
You know what? I think relatively I rode the hell out of it.
Yep.
But I didn't mountain bike the shit out of it. I didn't really know, like I didn't drive to the mountains and ride it in the mountains every weekend, but I rode it a lot, or what I thought was a lot back in the day. And it was a super good bike and super fun, and I had a blast, and rode it to the ship and anchor a lot.
Now that makes sense.
And I can remember the route coming down 10th Street and drilling it. It was super fun.
So how long did you, so that's in you first time into Bo?
Yeah. And yeah. Well, I knew of Bo Cycle in the past and stuff. I think, I don't think I bought my Kurhara Cascade from those guys a million years ago, right? And then bought the Kilauea, and I was like working in the bar, and I knew it was taxing, the bar
it's a hard
industry,
life.
right? And a lot of fun, but it was taxing, and I was kind of thinking, I didn't know what I wanted to do school-wise, so I was like looking for a potentially healthier road, right? And so, I knocked on the door at Bo Cycle and didn't really hear anything back for the first year. And then, the owner at the time, I circled back with him. I'm like, hey, I'm still interested. And so he decided to bring me on, and
that was it. 30 years later, you haven't left.
Yeah.
Would you, as you're working the nights and whether you're just starting down a Bo, was school still in your brain? Like, were you thinking like I should go to school because everyone else is?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Those cliche things, right?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
like, you have to go to school to have to get further ahead, blah, blah.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. In talking, I don't even really know what the years are or whatever, but, I took a year of petroleum engineering and then, a year and a half of petroleum engineering, and it didn't work out. And then I took a year of operations management at SAIT, and it was just never the spot for me, man. I was trying. I wanted to have that, and it just never stuck, man.
But that was such a thing back then,
Absolutely.
Just like, here's education is your path. It is potentially the only path.
Yeah.
In today's world, it's still important. I went to Mount Royal 3 times, dropped out 3 times because I thought it was a good idea.
For sure.
But then
exactly the same.
But it's not for everybody. But
it's not for everybody. And I bless the people's heart that know that at the outset, and they just go, this is my path, and I'm going to forego this path and go this path.
Yep.
And it was, for me, it was weighed heavy on my...
It's hard.
Like...
Yep. Did you have any...
I never felt... Yeah, it was a tough one, man. Absolutely.
I agree. And I don't know if how it worked in your house, but there wasn't like a hard pressure to go to school, but it was definitely the thing to do. And it was definitely strongly suggested that you go down this path, but I just it wouldn't work. And and it is frustrating. And there's the years where you're like, man, what am I going to do with my, what am I going to do with my life?
For sure.
Which is unsettling.
It weighed heavily on me still weighs heavily on me. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm okay now, but, but yeah, for many years it was like, it was a burden of weight on my shoulders,
for sure.
Mind that was always there.
Yep. So they finally gave you a job at Bo.
So I got the job at Bo.
Selling bikes like a crazy man.
Selling bikes. And, mountain bikes are on that, and things are going well. And, I'm there, I'm working, and I'm, the owner at the time is like not really saying too much to me about what I'm doing and how I'm doing. Right. So finally I set him down. I'm like, what's going on? Like, am I not good at this, or what's going on? And he's like, yeah, you're actually, ahead of sales versus Fransky and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, wicked, right?
Fransky's like an OG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I knew enough people from the bar industry that all these people came to see me because they trusted me and felt they could, I would steer them in the right direction. And
But that was a big piece of it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
From working in the nightclub and being a regular, like a normal dude, because in the nightclub there's a bunch of crazy people. Yeah. You were a normal guy, so you're making all these over thousands of people in a month would see you. You'd interact with like thousands of people, and then it starts transferring into they find you.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, when I started working at Bo Cycle, and I got to be good friends with one of the mechanics there, Eric Ireland. He was a pretty recluse, kind of a pretty straight shooter, and then he decided he liked coming out to the Mercury, and so we used to hang out at the Mercury a little bit. And he's like, I can't believe how many people come up and talk to you, and they want to know about bikes. And I'm just like, yeah, well, like he's like, you're always on. I'm like, yeah.
That was a start, because you fast forward to today, it is the exact same thing but on steroids now.
Yeah. No, it's
but like, it's fascinating for me to hear about all these blocks, all these building blocks of, you're kind of doing these things that feel comfortable and good, and then all of a sudden they lead to where it is you are, for the last many years. But
they didn't, at the time, they didn't seem to me like the obvious building blocks that they were, right? It was just being me, kind of going, whatever.
But people are attracted to you, right? You're easy to talk to. They remember you, and next thing you know, when you're selling bikes, and they've trusted you serving drinks and letting them in, and it makes a lot of sense to be a sales guy, like
for sure. Like, it's a blessing and a curse, man. Like,
because you're always on.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't change it.
No,
like,
it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's what instead of having like engineer, doctor blood, and like, this is your path. You got this thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've made this.
This monster.
Awesome.
So down at Bo, what are the because there's a bunch of different moments down there, like whether it's transitioning into management, whether it's moving the shop, like how long, are you doing the sales for a while, and then where do things start creeping to go a different path?
So basically at the shop, I was a little bit of a fashion sense. So I got to be the clothing buyer at the store, as well as, the sales manager.
Yep.
And then, the original owners wanted to transition, and they wanted to sell the business to myself and my current partners. So
was that before the new building went up?
Yep.
So before the new building went up, the transition was starting to be
correct.
Formulated.
Yep. Yeah. We bought the business when it was still 6531, and the new store is 6501. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how many years were you at Bo before ish before this this kind of group ownership idea came up?
12 years.
Oh, so it was a while.
Something like that, yeah.
And
for sure, yeah.
During that time, was it, did you know that you had found your spot? Did you feel like, or did you feel like you were somewhere that this could turn into like the career?
No.
It was just every years were going by, you were working.
Job and yeah, it was a job, and I enjoyed it, and we had a really good time.
Yep.
And I didn't think of it as a career, like forever ever type thing. And then the original owner one day said he was thinking about selling, and he thought that a certain group within the business would be good owners moving forward. And
yep. And what did that feel like? Did it feel like,
I was like,
oh shit, this is
a thing. This could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, okay. Yeah. Great.
Did you have any, as working somewhere for 12 years as an employee is as a stretch, right? It's a long time. Did you have any inclination to do your own thing or to try something else? Or
that's a great question. No, not really.
Like
I didn't have the cojones to start my own thing, man.
Yep.
No, I think to open a bike shop in Calgary, there had to have been, you need money.
Yep.
And then it's like, you need to have access to good lines, be it a Specialized, a Cannondale, a Trek, a Giant,
yep.
Right? But those were pretty nailed down by the existing dealership network, right?
Yep.
So to try and build a brand and open a new store, and I just didn't,
just wasn't there.
We talked about it, but
you did?
Yeah, just a couple guys, but just never, I wasn't ready to take that risk.
Yeah, put it all out there.
Yeah.
So this opportunity pops up and instantly you're like, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm here. I'm now in this.
Oh yeah. Like we, Both Cycle had been around since 1957, right? So, and we had good lines. So we had Kona, Specialized, Cannondale, Cervelo.
Yep.
Bunch of great lines. So
yep. So it made sense.
Yeah.
Instantly, yes. You were like, all right, I got to figure this out, but I'm in.
There was. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
Like, yeah, for sure. Like the original owners, they didn't have to really do anything. They were already kind of,
yep. There's a good team in place.
Because the second layer below him was in place with John Fransky, Daryl Elliott, and our accountant Dave Leung. Those guys were basically running the show essentially with myself.
Yep.
So the transition was seamless, in my opinion.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So.
And then from there, it's been a crazy ride. How would you explain the minute you become an owner, a part of the ownership team? What changes? Like, what in your head or your life changes? Is it just everything times 100, or what is it?
Well, yeah, we got super fortunate, no question about it, because we went from this smaller store,
yep,
right,
which I love.
That used to sell hockey gear,
man.
right, back in the day. When I started, I sharpened, screwed up some people's skates.
Come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Downstairs?
On the main floor.
No way.
Oh yeah. Like and we sold like fitness gear, like treadmills and stuff when I first started. It was horrible. So then fast forward to now, we're in the current building, just a bike shop.
Yep.
And the original owners built this new building that was like 10 times the size of the existing building. And Calgary's economy was healthy. It was like, 2012 or whatever it was, 2011. Yep. And all of a sudden you got this big venue that's a specific bike shop, built to be a bike shop. Economy's cranking. Cycling is a positive, thing. And took
goes.
off, man. Yeah, that's great.
That before we get to the new place, the old place had such a unique character to it.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
It was just I can't remember if it was like carpet going up to the
I
stairs
was
in the
gonna
back.
say, yeah, the shitty carpet.
But
Yeah,
and once you got up there, you're just looking at all these fancy bikes and the tags on them, and like, oh my god, this is a $5,000 bike, which is mind altering back then.
walking upstairs. Oh yeah, I mean, I was the same as a customer. Like I used to go up there and just like, awesome.
It was just
full suspension.
what was, and the new shop is a monster, but it still has, everything upstairs is a different, like it's the same idea, just on steroids, obviously. But the difference between the two shops, like, the original was, it just had this feeling to it.
You know what? It was, for sure. It was super personal. It was smaller, right? It was more intimate, for sure.
That's what I was just going to say.
There was 20 people that worked there, at the new store. It's
more than that.
Pre-COVID, like 140 people. So it's different for sure, but we're still trying to keep that.
It feels.
Yeah.
The staff are good, and you can walk in there, you get good customer service, like all those pieces.
Yeah.
That original one is just, bikes hanging that you're kind of like almost walking under because they're at your head. Like it was just, it was a really cool space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you take it to the new place, is it, it feels like this is your thing now? Like those thoughts in the past of like, what else is out there? Should I be are those all now done? Are you like confident?
No, this is in. I'm in, man. Like cool. For sure. This is my, I'm there almost 30 years now.
Yep. You're way in.
Yeah.
So the other, the piece that not a lot of people know about that I stumbled across was your passion of biking and when no, he's giving me hand gestures and I can't. Where I'm angling towards, and it's just your true like this newfound or your commitment to biking. Something's changed in the last little while, and I'm really curious to understand where your head went.
I think it was, I've always been a cyclist and enjoyed it. But the past 5 years, I think it's when I joined Strava. It's kind of a weird one that sort of clicked the switch, the switch, and I needed to ride every day, and I try and ride every day now. And it was, I didn't really have goals before, but now I have goals of how far I want to ride, and I'm not competitive, but I want to
just with
ride
yourself.
a lot.
Yeah. And do you think, Strava? Do you think it's the, being a competitive person, having that in your DNA, or is it a check and balance for yourself, or is
it's
it just
a check and balance? I don't need to race. I'm not a.
Yep.
I just want to put miles in.
It's you. Yeah. It's all you.
Yeah.
And there was no reason. Like there was, you probably rode a lot over the years. I've kind of caught up with you in the last 3 maybe to see what's actually happening, but something like it's a big commitment.
Indeed.
It's like a passion, commitment, torture, everything all together, but it's important. Like
I have to. It's mental as much as physical, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you find that just riding the riding community, does Bo become this like even bigger community when you're kind of, you can be a salesperson and not do the thing, or you can, be a salesperson and really participate in the sport. And it just feels like, the amount of clicks you're putting on and the passion you have, it's got to spill off into,
I just want to be, I want people to look at me and go, holy fuck, Kurt is riding that much. Mm-hmm. Look at that guy. He's 50 and riding the kilometers that he is. Right?
Crushing it.
Yeah.
It's what's interesting for me is, I got back into cycling a couple of years ago, and obviously came down and saw you. And what's cool for me is you're exactly right. When people watch to see the numbers going up,
Yeah.
it's inspiring.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's,
Oh, I love hearing that. You know what I mean?
it's, you know, dude like me that really doesn't ride, you know, all that much or, you know, over the years. Yeah, it definitely is, a thing. So where we left off was talking about Strava, and you talked about earlier about getting the needle, and you know I have the needle now too, and I feel the same way as you do. Is it's not a competition. I don't look at it as, you know, I'm trying to prove something. It is a check and a balance for me.
Indeed.
It's that just being active, you know, as we get older and just trying to stay healthy. This is the thing that allows us to stay healthy, and that's really all it is.
For me, it's setting a goal, I think, and just trying to get as far as I can within a year. And it's
you do set them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Same as last year. What's the number this year?
I
had to ask.
I don't really.
You don't want to say it? Don't say it. Don't say it. No, don't say it. No, don't say it. Don't say it. You have a number in your head.
North of 20.
Okay.
And
which is totally good.
Yeah. And you know what? I again, to go back, it's like I need to do it physically because I like beer and I like being under 220 pounds and mentally I need it for sure. And I do like the, you know, seeing people who follow me on Strava or whatever, just customers see how far did you ride that last year? It's like, well, quite a bit, right? Just keeping it real, right? And
it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's such a. I really, you know, as a customer, as a friend, like it works on both sides. You know, as a customer, I know that you understand, you know, how important biking is. And when people come in to talk to you and you know, for me, I made a big purchase from me a couple of years ago, and you know that, like, I know that you appreciate that and you're going to steer me down the right path, which is really cool. The peace of mind that comes from riding is what's been fascinating for me.
Oh yeah.
How it's just, you can get a lot sorted on those rides.
Oh yeah.
So whether it's a 50K and you're riding, like, the amount of stuff you can work through your brain, and when you get off your bike, things feel pretty good.
There's definitely some clarity, that comes with it for sure. And it sounds so cheesy, but when I try to explain it to people, like if I'm trying to explain Zen, go ride your bike, and you don't have to go mountain biking. You don't have to go do centuries. You can ride 50K, 30K, 40K.
Yep.
Just go ride your bike. And
totally.
I think that cadence, that consistent cadence is Zen. Like
I agree.
Yeah. I think if you're a runner, you get that runner's high type thing. And I'm sure that, to me, I assume that that's the high I get from turning pedals.
Do you find, my girlfriend's going to probably, she's probably yelling, she's going to agree with this wholeheartedly. The days you don't ride, is your temperament different?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If I don't ride,
something's off, right? The day just has a different spin to it. You know, there's something missing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's weird to take days off.
Yep.
But it's weird to have to ride every day at the same time. I get that. But for me, if I take a day off, it's like, you're a little tweaked, right?
Yeah. Something's off. And I think it's that that Zen state.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you ride that often, when you're with yourself for those amount of kilometers and those hours, it's necessary when you lead a busy life, which that's why I think those days off, they're unsettling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think last year I took 36 days off total out of the year so
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you bought your first bike, you know, could you ever have pictured where you are today with the passion?
Not.
It's not even there's no way you can connect any dots.
Yeah.
This is
no doubt. No way.
So, you know, in the last, you know, when you got Strava and it flipped, before that, was it just, you know, a commuter bike to the ship or just kind of messing around a little bit? And then
I think pre-Strava, you know, I thought I rode a lot. I was probably, you know, 4,000-6,000 K a year type thing, which is riding.
It's serious.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, but I think just having that, be able to see it every day and watch it accumulate. Like, I had a cat eye computer that showed me how far I rode, and I thought it was a lot, right?
Yep.
But I think Strava you have people that follow you and you checks and balances and
totally
people pump your tires and
it's healthy.
Yeah, it is healthy for sure.
It's
a good thing. Yeah, it was my buddy Sean Bunnan. He actually was the other guy that said, you need to get onto Strava. I'm like, I ride for me, man. And then when I finally got on, it was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Here we go.
I was totally missing out.
And were you always on road bikes? Or you have a wide swath of bikes. We'll leave it at that. But, you know, when you're doing 4 to 6, you're on a road bike, or are you kind of splitting time between mountain bikes and road bikes back then?
Mostly road bikes, I would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have mountain bikes, but they're basically bike path cruisers. I'm not.
Yep.
I don't go, like, I hate driving to ride my bike.
Me too.
So
why is
go
that?
to Bragg Creek and to drive 45 minutes to Bragg Creek, ride for an hour, drive 45 minutes, I'm just not. I don't have time, right? Like it's, my life is busy. I got kids and business to run and honestly, mountain biking is hard. Like and you got to think about what you're doing. Road cycling is just kind of
lock in,
tune out and turn pedals.
Yep.
I do love mountain biking when I do it. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that driving to a parking lot and then pulling your bike off and going right, it's just a time thing. I feel the exact same. It just feels it feels very awkward to think about doing that.
Yeah. Time is super precious. So I want to leave from my front door.
Yep.
Click in.
Yep.
Pedal for 3 hours. Come back. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, man,
it's hard to explain.
It is. But it's also, I think the reason it's kind of tricky is because you really have to go in. You have to start really thinking about what it is that it does for you, which is kind of could be an awkward place to go to.
Oh, yeah. But I think once you get into the rhythm, it's every day. You just, okay, when am I going to do this? Like, right?
Which is tricky. To your point, it's a big time commitment. You know, if you're riding 2 to 3 hours a day,
I ride in the morning a lot before my kids go to school and...
Which is, I do the same thing, obviously not at nearly the scale, but that early morning thing, I think also just sets your day up. You know, it just,
absolutely.
It's unbelievable what you feel like when there's nobody else around you and you've rode for a couple hours and you're done and your day is, you know, people are just waking up.
Oh yeah.
And you're done. Like,
you feel great.
It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you got me onto Strava too. And I felt the same way as you. I was like, I don't need it. I got nothing to prove. What I didn't realize that it's just it's for me. It's all for me.
Yeah, it's just super motivating and just keep track of what you're doing.
Yep. Yeah, super cool. Yeah. Well, this has been a cool one. We could talk snowboarding. We talk about a lot of different things, but that would take this show way over. It's a lot of time period. The show is called the Calgary Sessions. There's only one canned question for the show, and it is, when I say the word Calgary, where does your head go?
You know, you told me to think about this, and it's my home. I grew up here, right? And I think of all my friends, associates that I've met through Calgary, and the quality of people, and what a great city it is, and what it's brought to me. It's super special, man.
Yep.
Just every year of my life in Calgary has been over the top cool, and
Yep.
the cool people that I've met, like, oh, man, I could literally go on for days of all the great people that have made my life awesome and super fun, and
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
great.
It's a special place.
It's a super special place, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think, you know, for me, you know, I worked in the nightclub scene for a while, and it's just, and now you know, you did too. You're in the biking world, and it's just these circles. You know, these circles always cross, and it's just, and it seems like good people just keep on, you know, your world just keeps on moving, and good people come in and out. Like, it's just, it's such a, if you do good things, it seems like good people just kind of find you and your world, and Calgary just like embraces it. It's just,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's everything for me, man. Yeah. It's fun to ask the question because everyone has their own version, but it's always the same. You know, if we're born and raised in Calgary, there's something super special about this place. It's friends, family, you know, my word is just, it's everything, you know, like.
Well, yeah, I don't, it'd be hard to leave, and I don't know if I want to be here forever.
You want to go to a beach, or what do you want to do?
Oh, maybe somewhere warmer at some point, man. Like, I still love snowboarding.
Do you think?
But I love cycling, so.
Could you live in Maui like all year and ride there?
No, I don't think so.
Overseas? Would you go to like Italy, Spain, and just?
Europe's pretty cool, man. I do love Europe.
And you could ride like.
Yeah. I don't know. I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love Calgary.
Yep.
Vancouver, maybe. I don't
know.
My in-laws are there, so.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's way down the road.
Yeah. I'm young.
You got lots of kilometers left.
I'm good in Calgary, riding in the snow down here. No problem.
That's the best thing, you know. I knew you were going to ride. I was just like, oh, he really is riding.
I got fenders and booties. I'm good.
So good, man. Well, thanks for taking the time. It's I know how valuable it is to you, and I really appreciate you doing this for me.
Man. Yeah, it's super cool, and I think what you're doing is awesome. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good one.
I'm sure we'll see you on the pass soon.
No doubt.
All right, man.